Welcome to the show, Silvio.
Hey, Luck. Yeah, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Great. So, what's your story?
Yeah, I'm quite proud of my story. So I was born in the countryside of Brazil, in a poor family, living with, I would say, the very bare minimum. And to make matters a little worse, at that point in time, my parents they got divorced. Um, but it was then when I moved to Sao Paulo, which is the financial capital city for in Brazil. Um, and then for a couple moments in my life when I was a teenager, I was close to heavy drug users. Thank God that stuff was never appealing to me. I started working very young. So when I was about 14, I started working, and I kind of never looked behind. So I started learning or started studying on my high school. It was kind of half regular content and half technical in IT. And then it was when my life started to change. So I went to university right after that. Needed to sell a car to be able to pay for my studies. And then by the time I finished it, I was making it good money for the country standards. I got married, started my MBA, one kid, got a job, the new job, the one that brought me to where I am now. Um, I enrolled the HBS. By the time it was HBX. Second kid, promoted to director. And then I decided to attend an international MBA in innovation in California. And here I am, living in Ireland for the last 14 months. Everything before 37. So it was busy times.
Yeah, I think that's a fascinating story, and the way you have spoken about it in terms of like how you had a difficult childhood growing up, but then you took education as a means of climbing up the social ladder, and now after
Yeah.
going through it, you are now living with your family in Ireland. That's quite a fascinating story, and I'm glad that you are sharing about it. How did your education play a role in helping you develop a career?
I think education was the main pillar of my career. Look, firstly, my dad was a teacher. He was a math teacher. So since the day one, I had education inside, my life and my daily routine. But I think education, along with my dedication and responsibility, probably this is about 80% of my success. Um, First, I was able to get a proper job only after I started this high school technical course. Um, and when in college, I was able to switch a job 2 or 3 times, always getting a pay raise. But I was investing everything that I had at that point in time to pay for my college. And then, as I noticed that the market was in need of more education or better professionals in terms of certification. So I have a background in IT, so I heavily invested on it. And as they said, investing in the education pays the best dividends, right? So at that time, I was a leader already, and then I decided to enroll in an MBA. It came naturally, actually, and it enabled my next steps and my progress. Um, of course, sometimes uh, 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 between these trainings, I started learning English. So the public schools in Brazil, the public education is not that good. So I invested again time and money. I spent 1 month in New York, in Manhattan, learning or improving my English. It was my first international trip. New York has a special place in my heart. At that point in time, it was the biggest adventure of my life, and I never stopped. After that, after the MBA was the HBX training. After that was my international MBA in California. And as of now, I'm still looking at new stuff to learn, Green Belt, Six Sigma, and other stuff. So I think we should never stop learning, and I am kind of an example of how education can change your life,
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, in parallel to this, a lot of books. I like to say that I have some short list of gurus such as Simon Sinek, Elon Musk, Brené Brown. Um, these guys, they have a lot to offer, and if you can learn few things from them, you know you'll be in a different level.
I have personally seen the difference that an education makes in someone's life because I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs that are all high school dropouts. And although they did work hard to kind of grow their business to the point that it was still capped or limited by the lack of understanding the larger economic forces that play a role in determining how you grow your business. And because my uncle, my dad, my grandfather, they all didn't have an education beyond a certain point, they were not able to look at that. And they were aware of that, they realized that. So when I was growing up, they made sure that I received good education.
Mm.
And the benefit of that was that I was able to look at the bigger picture, and I was able to understand that how we can take my family business to another level, which helped them a lot when I was part of it. And now it's doing well. But I mean, education certainly plays a huge role in the kind of social transformation that happens. And again, you are another good example of it. And what I like about your journey is that you have used education and learning as a way to rise to another level all the time. That requires a certain level of discipline and awareness, which I don't think a lot of people have.
Thank you. And yeah, I agree with you. It's a constant exercise of self-reflection, and understanding that there is always something else to learn. I think there is a quote that says, "If you are the smartest mind in the room, you are in the wrong room."
Yes.
So that's why I'm always trying to challenge myself to be in another room with other people. And again, our training course on Harvard, the Harvard Business School, was one example of that.
What's your definition of happiness?
I don't think there is nothing more relative in life than happiness. In my opinion, it starts with our inner peace. You can't really be happy if you're not in peace with yourself. I think true happiness comes from inside. The outside world can make you more or less happy, but can't fully move with you from one state, from another state to happiness, to become happy. um, I think it contains a good dose of awareness that there are things that you can't control, way more things that you can't control, other than you can in your life. Maybe the very first step to happiness is to accept that. I think it comes with maturity. Focus on what we can control, accept what you can't, and try to change it if to change it somehow if you don't think or if you don't like how things are set in your life, you know. For me now, I would say my definition of happiness is being surrounded by people whom you love, you know, doing something that gives you a feeling of fulfillment, even for a small part of your day, you know. Um, they say that you must work with what you love, but we shouldn't think that we're going to be doing what we love 100% of our time. Even if we do what we love, we still need to deal with the accounting part or the legal part, which is usually something that an entrepreneur is not what we love, right? So, you know, the truth is that there's no magic recipe for happiness, in my opinion. It's about a balance, and a very difficult one to find, you know.
You said it very properly when you mentioned that uh, happiness is not all about doing what you love. It also has to deal with the things that you don't love, but it's still integral to the things that you need to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of filmmakers, when they try to start their own production company, start feeling a bit overwhelmed, because then they have to now deal with the paperwork and taxes and all the forms and all those things, and they then start thinking that, okay, this is taking away too much time from the actual creative work that I thought I would be doing. For me, the benefit was that because I come from a business background and because I come from a banking background, I have the understanding of those things. So for me, the paperwork or understanding financial statements was not a problem. For me, when I transitioned from finance to media, was more about learning the tricks of the trade, in the sense that not only how do you write, let's say, a good screenplay, but how do you sell it. So those were the things that I had to learn. But I think, yeah, I agree that there is no magic formula for happiness as such. As you said, it relies a lot on self-awareness,
Yeah.
and knowing what factors you cannot control. And I think that is a good framework to, like, establish your happiness. How have the people around you, like your friends and family, inspired or influenced you?
When we talk about people that influenced me, I usually think about my role models. You know, um, there's no other person to come first other than my mom. You know, she was a cleaner. You know, she was by herself. Um, by the time that I was 8, after my mom and my dad, they got divorced. You know, it was hard work during the day for her, and then taking care of the family and house during the night. Um, and I think she was the first and the strongest role model I could ever had. You know, um, uh, she gave me, you know, my core strong values. Um, she was or she still is a relentless fighter. You know, never skip a day of work because she got a cold or because she was sick. She was fighting a tough battle, a tough battle. You know, and she never refused to help others, even probably being one in most need of help. She was always trying to help other people as well. So uh, I think she taught me, you know, uh, uh, strong values as honesty and character, um, and not to forget people that are around us. You know, my second one is my dad. So he was a math teacher. So I think my main lesson from him was logical thinking. So when I was young, we used to play some games, and such as tic tac toe, for instance. But we were playing it without paper, just using our minds. So we numbered each position on the hashtag. from 1 to 9, and then we played before mine. So I had not only to play my move, but I also need to remember the position of X's and circles during the game. And yeah, we played naval battle as well, in chess, of course. Yeah, I really don't know what my IQ level is, but certainly my dad brought it up a little. You know.
Talking of my own mother, I think she was uh, never shying away from trying new things to help support the family.
Mm-hmm.
She never went to business school or had any understanding of how business works.
Yeah.
But when my family business was going through a difficult time, she stepped up
Mm-hmm.
and learned how to become an effective part of the business, and then she helped contribute in driving more sales. And I think that just goes on to show that everything that you fear or that you are worried about, it's only in your mind. Once you set out to achieve something, then I think you are able to do it as far as you know how to approach it. How would you say is your leadership style different than others?
I think this is a very good question. We usually think what our leadership style is, right? But not how does it differ from others. I like to think that I enable people to deliver results, and this allows them to grow. Resulting in a positive changes in their lives. And the way I do it is through assigning them challenges, combining it with a strong support structure, coaching, mentoring them, giving them the tools they need to achieve the talents, or to achieve the challenges that I give to them. It's nice because when I see the growing, so growth is painful, right? Physically and mentally, it is painful. So I can see that these guys uncomfortable, but always rewarding. The feeling after you realize that you're better. Uh, there's no better feeling, I think. And this is for me. This is when the magic moment for me is when they see that they are better, they are different for the better. That they level up their game, that they can connect the dots themselves, the ones that they couldn't connect before. For me, there is nothing better than seeing people progressing on their career, again, leveling up their lives as a result of their own efforts. I like that quote that says, before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. And when you become a leader, success is all about growing others. And I think it brings a good sense of what kind of leadership I try to have. And this means you don't do this for the company that you work. You do it for the individual. And if a better opportunity is waiting for them outside, you help them transition. Um, I kind of assisted the creation of 2 different leadership development programs over the last 5 years, and I think this is one of my greatest achievements so far. Many of the participants of these programs, they are now leaders, and I'm quite proud of that. I can see their lives are better now in many senses, and I hope that they can make, they can do the same for other people.
Just being aware of how leadership is different and than management, and essentially how you can lead people towards a certain vision, that itself sets you apart from a lot of other people, because a lot of people mix up management and leadership, and those two of course are not the same. But I do believe that it's a happy feeling when you see that people are going through uncomfortable process, but in the end it all pays
Yeah.
off. And I think I experienced that when I was trying to make a film in Mumbai, because um, we were looking for a good location to shoot a few scenes in the house, but the house that we chose was not ideal. It was too bright and it didn't have the kind of feel that we were going for. So one of the actors stepped up and said that, hey, you guys can shoot at my place. It has much better, angles and much better layout. And but I asked him that, but your parents are a bit elderly, don't you think they'll be troubled? And he's like, no, they can, like, stay in their room for just the weekend, and once that is done, they can go back to normal. So when you find other people who are equally invested in the process that you're trying to
Yeah.
achieve, I think that makes a lot of difference. When was the last time you tried something for the first time?
Here I am, Alok, being interviewed for the first time, participating in a podcast for the first time. Pushing myself forward, and as an introverted person, daring to be vulnerable. Um,
Right.
Again, suffering from the imposter syndrome, but realizing that I think I have something relevant to say, and a relevant message to deliver, and your podcast is a great to do it. But yeah, I think there is something else, which is, there is something that I'm still trying. It's the greatest adventure of my life so far. Living in another country, having moved with the whole family, wife, two kids, the dog. It was kind of in a big bang approach. So we came everybody together, to a country that we have never visited before. So it sound a bit crazy, but here we are. There are 1,000 different challenges, from simple things such as opening a bank account, to the more complex ones like learning the culture, leading a team, a very plural team, uh, adjusting your lifestyle, and learn how to deal with the distance of loved ones, friends and relatives that stayed back in Brazil. It's kind of a it's a tough challenge, but it's good. I usually say that it's okay to have fear. The problem is the fear uh, can't stop you. So when we arrived in Ireland, I was concerned. My body was shaking, but uh, I had no other option. It was my choice to come, and a few moments after, I was driving in the wrong side of the road. That's it. But so far it's been a great learning period. I think I expanded my self-awareness. My kids are having a singular experience in their lives as well. And it's something like, if you let your feelings hold you, you never grow. It's anything. You don't have much growing around your comfort zone, right? So um, here I am, 15,000 kilometers away from my comfort zone. I would say I'm
Mm.
almost ready to try something new, but no, I still need a couple months more.
I think I am a bit surprised that this is your first podcast, because based on what you have shared so far, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't have been on any other podcast talking about your experiences. But it's very kind of you to say that, okay, you felt that my podcast was a medium for you to open up and share about these things. And as you said, as an introvert, these things could be a bit difficult because you're putting yourself in a uncomfortable or rather vulnerable position. And because I was an introvert early in my life, I know how that feels.
Mhm.
So thank you so much again for doing this. But also I think yeah, moving to a new country and accepting the culture, and it's much more difficult when you have your wife and kids and dog with you, because it's not only the adjustment process for you, it's for them as well.
Yeah.
And to be able to go through that can be challenging. And I remember I still am trying to learn a few things about the US, and it's been, I think, 4 years that I have moved here. What kind of impact would you like to see your work have on people?
It's like I said, I'd like to see people evolving on their careers, expanding their purpose, and that this translates into something very positive on their lives, that they feel valued, and that their job is also making a difference to their colleagues, customers, everyone possible around them, Also, I would like to contribute to a positive work environment where people could have plenty conditions to deliver meaningful results, and to have an equal chances of progressing their career, And as we both recognize the value of our mothers, um, and having two little girls, I think for me a hot topic now is gender equity. So this is also something that is calling my attention, and I would like to give a meaningful contribution to the theme. So again, having these two little ones at home, and being surrounded by great women in my life, within and without the office, I feel like the minimum I could do for them is to fight for equity, paying extra attention on salary offers when hiring increases, and so on. But not only this, making sure the chances are equal in any hiring process or merit review, and if we have that we have a good prepared candidates for leadership position as well. Um, I think this theme needs a higher level of awareness from everybody, and this is what I think. Uh, um, this is what I'm committed to now. I would like to pave the way for them, for the future generations, to have a uh, uh, better work environment conditions.
I think it's high time that we created equal opportunities for women so that they can fulfill their true potential, and not be held back by any discriminatory practices or gender biases. And I think taking any steps in that direction serves really well, because not only you are making a difference to women's life in general, you are contributing to society by making it more balanced and equal. And I think that's of larger importance than the process through which we get there. So yeah, I think you have these great ideas in terms of like making workplace better for everyone, and then working for equality of women. I think that's great. That brings us to the last question. What's next? What are the exciting ideas or projects that you're working on, and what can the listeners expect from you going ahead?
Yeah, it's tricky. I've been thinking a lot about it lately. Um, Definitely, I would like to be able to expand my impact. Uh, um, to level up their lives. But I don't see myself as a career coach, for instance. From my perspective, I think this market is saturated now. Um, I just don't have clarity of how I would do it now. Maybe having my own consultancy company or being a teacher in a business environment. move into a completely different role, maybe in a learning department, or even in HR. Um, there is a research that says that we will have, in average, we will have 3 different careers during our life. And I think you mentioned at least 2 careers. So you're leveling up, you're keeping the average. I hope I don't push the average down. I'm really keen to find something else, and to learn more. I have a special feeling for leadership, and but my second one is for analytics. I think my sweet spot is definitely the overlap between data and leadership. 2 years ago, I wrote a paper on my about after my MBA, my international module, which was basically a business model that creates a platform that helps connecting candidates and companies in a different way. Maybe one of the ideas of the next step is try to get this project up and running. And that's it. I'm keeping my options very, very open and wide now. I still need to give more thought about it.
As you said, that people on an average have 2 to 3 careers in their lifetime. If that's true, then I'm already above average because
Cool.
I've tried so many things, but that was by design, as in like I consciously thought about it because um, a lot of people pursue one thing and then just spend so much time on that they don't realize that they could be really good at something else as well. And I didn't want to be in that position, so I said that okay, I'll take my 20s to just like see where my passion lies. So I'll try everything that comes across my way, and then also consciously make effort to try the things that I'm curious about. And so I also have a background in IT. Yeah, I didn't want to pursue a career in that. So it's a good skill to have, and I'm now realizing that. But yeah, I never saw that as a career, so that is something that I approached only out of curiosity. Filmmaking or storytelling was something that I approached out of curiosity, and then it kind of became a career. So yeah, and then I started everything, like my professional career with investment banking. So
Cool.
that's a different universe. So yeah, I'm already, I think, at like 3 or 4 right now that I've tried. But yeah, I think to know that okay, where at least to have a general sense of where you want to go. So as you mentioned, the analytics part, I think yeah, that is again playing a key role in how industries are using the data that they have to deliver better experiences. And I've been thinking about that as well. I wanted to create a recommendation engine or an analysis engine of some sort that helps me understand um, that if I have to consult with my clients in terms of what is the best kind of podcast to create, then I have good quantitative information to layer with than my experience. So yeah, that's still in works, but yeah, I think analytics again is a great part of how modern organizations work, and I think if you focus on that, then there are a lot of opportunities there. But I think overall you have like a solid grasp over how to take things forward, and I think that's wonderful. So I hope that you achieve success in all your projects and all your dreams come true.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alok. Let's see what the future brings. I just want to not to be prepared, but to have courage enough, as I've been having, to jump on them, to face them. And let's see, success is relative as well, right? So if I learn something on each experience, that's a good outcome.
That's great. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on the show, and it was fun having you.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, I hope we still connected, and that let's see if you have a second or third session that we can have in a different set. You can count on me.